Right, another brew? Actually, no. Put the brew down for a minute. I need you to focus because what I'm about to tell you is the thing nobody tells parents, and it'll change how your child revises from tonight. Not tomorrow, tonight. And it's called spaced repetition. I know, sounds fancy, doesn't it? Sounds like something you'd book at a private clinic. You'd phone up and they'd say, oh, certainly, we have a slot for spaced repetition on Thursday. There's a complimentary robe. But it's not that. It's 3 piles of paper on a desk. And it is genuinely, scientifically backed by 100 years of research, more effective than everything your child is currently doing. Which brings me to the man who proved this in 1885, Hermann Ebbinghaus. Bear with me, because this is brilliant. German psychologist, 1885, before wagon wheels started getting smaller, before basically anything. This man locked himself in a room and spent months memorizing thousands of nonsense syllables. Nonsense syllables, not words. Things like D-A-X, B-O-K, R-U-P. Just sitting there going D-A-X, Bok, Rup, writing down how much he remembered the next day. And I want you to picture what his wife came home to. Oh, what have you been doing today, darling? Oh, nonsense syllables. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'll put the kettle on. But here's what he found, because this is the bit that really, really matters. He found that if he didn't review anything, so if your child learns something and never return to it, memory drops fast. Essentially, it looks like this. 1 hour later, 50% of the material is gone. 1 hour later, the lesson isn't even cold. 1 day later, 70% gone. A week later, 90% gone. A month later, nearly all of it is gone. As if your teenager sat in that classroom for an entire hour and the information just quietly got its coat and left through the door. Now here's the switch. Hermann Ebbinghaus, he also found the fix. So what if we could teach that here today? Because what he found was every time you review something, just before it fades, the curve flattens. It doesn't drop like this. It flattens along. So the memory lasts longer. Review it again at the right moment, lasts longer even still. Keep going and the same information that would have vanished after a month is now sitting in long-term memory, completely intact, right when your teenager needs it for the exams. That is spaced repetition. Not more revision, better timed revision. The 3 piles are that timing system. But let me explain quickly how to work it. So your child takes the flashcards, the specific flashcards. On one side, there's one specific thing, on the other is the answer. They take the flashcards or questions, cut up mind maps or whatever it is, whatever the eye of implement a strategy they have chosen, a mnemonic or whatever that idea is to help them. Then they sort them into 3 piles. This is important. Pile 1 is the I know this. It comes to them fast, confident, came straight out. You know the face. It's the kind of quiz show face. Slight head to the side. Answer before the presenters finish the question. Kind of smug looking. Those pile 1 things can be reviewed once a week, just to keep the path clear. Pile 2 is the I kind of know this. It's a bit wobbly. It takes a second to come. Eyes go to the ceiling. I'm not sure exactly. Do you think it's this? They say something correct and then immediately doubt it while it's still leaving their mouth. Like ordering at a drive-through in a strong wind. The words come out, but with less confidence than either of you would ideally like. Pile 2, review those every 2 or 3 days. The pile 3, this is the no idea whatsoever. When you ask them a question about pile 3, they look at you like this. There's a long pause. You know that specific face of someone wondering whether they were actually ever in that lesson or they ever actually studied this subject, or whether they've just been collecting stationery all along. That is pile 3. They may even try to change the subject. I think the dog needs something. Maybe you don't even have a dog. But this pile is really important. We review this pile daily. This is where the work is. The brain that visited this repeatedly will eventually give in. But don't skip this bit. So the neuroscience suggests this. Every time your child pulls a memory from scratch, retrieves it from memory, is the technical term, with effort, with nothing in front of them, the neural pathway that holds memory gets physically stronger. Imagine a scene. You go through a field that's not ploughed yet, and you have to walk through from one side to the other. You've got corn everywhere. What's that path like to walk through? Walk it once, it's barely there. Walk it 50 times, and there's a proper track starting to get there. Walk it 100 times, it's like a highway. Rereading notes is looking at a map of the field. You can see the path, but you've not walked it. The card, the staring, the jaw dropping, I'm not sure what it is. That's the path being walked right now in real time. And here's the part I need you to really hear. The bit that you can really help with. When you see that face, the struggling face, the staring, slightly tragic, I don't know this, I'm not sure I ever will kind of face. Please do not help them just yet. I know it's hard. You're their parent. You've been the person who helps for their entire life. You help them with the Lego, you helped them with the spellings, you help them ride a bike, you help them with their science project that slightly got out of hand. But not yet. Because the moment you give them the answer straight away, you walk that path through the field for them. And a path someone else walked for us doesn't help us as much in the exam. So here's what to do instead. Wait for 20, 30 seconds or so, if you have to. And then, and only then, say something like this. What do you know about this topic? Just say anything that comes out. What's the first thing that pops into your mind? Not the answer, not a hint, just permission to say what's already there. Because often, more often than you think, something comes. A fragment, a first letter. And that fragment is enough. And at that point, you can say it starts with A, or it's got a kind of picture on it of something that represents this. The brain, from that fragment, will find the rest. That's retrieval. That's the walk. And you just made it happen. Your teenager may also have drawings on their cards. A tiny top hat next to Scrooge, a small ghost next to Marley. Something that is possibly a crown or possibly a bin lid next to Macbeth. Something you'd describe charitably as impressionistic. and maybe we know that they're a little bit rubbish. Don't laugh at these drawings. The drawings creates a second memory pathway, a visual one, separate from the words. In the exam, when the verbal memory wobbles, the image is still there. The brain finds the image. And remember what we talked about already? The image brings the content with it. Remember, a picture paints 1,000 words. Your child may have drawn a terrible hat. It might get them an extra grade. That's the beauty of this. That's brilliant. So here's what to say, but sometimes what not to say. It's because I know some of you are there sitting and thinking, this is all very well, but what do I actually do when I'm in the room? Here are the simple things. Because they may struggle to put it into different groups. It may be group 1.5. So ask the question, make them commit. Which pile is that going in? 1, 2, or 3? How sure are you? Is it quick, or do you have to think? What's the drawing on the card? What does that remind you of? Just say anything that comes to mind. Can you extend upon the thing on the back rather than you saying it word for word? Do not say, it's this. What you've done is cancelled the retrieval. You've walked for them. Worse, you should know this by now. Not once in the entire history of education has this sentence helped a single student remember a single thing. Not once. The memory comes from the wrestle, not the rescue. One last thing. Piles sometimes go backwards. That's fine. Your child's pile 1 on one day might be a pile 2 on Thursday. They knew it, but now it's fuzzy. That's not failure. That's doing the forgetting curve. And that's doing what exactly Ebbinghaus said it would. And the important thing is the system is catching it before it falls all the way to pile 3. So that's good news. I know it doesn't look like good news, but it is good news. So stick this summary somewhere at the bottom of this is in a order so that you can use. So remember, 3 piles, know it, sort of know it, no idea know it. Pile 3, review daily or bi-daily. Brain visited repeatedly, gives in. Remember, wait before helping. Count to 20 in your mind. And then what do you know about it? Backwards movement is normal. The system's working, not failing. But so is forwards movement. Sometimes a pile 3 moves to pile 2 to pile 1. The drawings are intentional, even if you don't know what they are. The struggle is at the learning. So make sure that gets enhanced. Now's the time. Pop the kettle on. They'll suddenly remember something, the exact quote, completely unprompted, right at the moment that you've just sat down. That's not coincidence. That's the spacing doing what the spacing does. Go and tell them about the 3 piles tonight if they haven't already watched the student video. Good luck.